Away, Margaret. Okay. Bruce and Brewers. For someone who's been engaged once, already had a bond with a partner, co-rented with a partner, where we go equal, being proposed to a few times after that, and even a few times by one person. Don't be tricked by a proposal, and don't be too hypnotized by fancy weddings, because the marriage is what is more important. My face is glowing. I have candles here, so you must just, I don't want to wake up the babies. Some will propose to you when they feel like they can lose you. That's why you'll be together for 8 years, then finally, at last. It's heck. Marriage should only be for love. And a man's love should involve providing and protecting you. He should be disgusted by the idea of you spending money. And you should be disgusted by someone who doesn't flood you with gifts and money and, without expecting anything in return. You are a beautiful flower. Do you know, I was reading something now, and it says there that apparently King David was busy tweaky with this other demon. And I was like, whoa, bro. And that's how Asmodeus, my favorite demon, Asmodeus was conceived. So King David, the one that the Bible has sanctified, he was also busy. He also had the weakness of a man to the beautiful blossoming flower of the woman. Yeah, guys, there's so many. Even the book of Adam and Eve, that was a beautiful book, and I spoke about how God had so much grace, like God has so much grace that he made sure that Adam and Eve couldn't smell the deliciousness of the Garden of Eden. So he banished them to this cave of treasures, and they committed suicide a lot of times because they were so disappointed, and he kept on bringing them back because he's like, no, you'll have to learn your lesson, you'll have to blah blah blah. And it's so deep, because there's also other theories that the Garden of Eden was more like an experiment, like a science project. So it's terrible. But anyway, as I was saying, right, for someone who has been there on the verge, thank goodness I never ever got married to any, toxic, I never settled. So now I can actually have the real experience. And seeing that I'm not aging, I'm not in a rush. My womb is very much healthy. So I'm patient for when my divine masculine, comes and picks me up in the chariot with the white horses and all of that stuff, because I'm a bushy Cinderella, Ella, Bella. Right. Don't be hypnotized by the ideas of weddings and things, okay? This man is not of any worth to you without any assets. I said so in a previous video. Men without assets should remain virgins, okay? By law, a man should only be given the right to be sexually active once he has acquired assets, once he has built a foundation. Why? So that in case a oopsie happens and a baby materializes, that baby will be cared for. Because how much of the horror currently happening in some realities was sparked by a fatherless child? A child whose father went to go buy milk or soap. He was so stressed out. Or a child whose father had too many babies, so he couldn't afford. or a child whose father died, or a child whose father went to war, or absent fathers come from a lot of, there's a lot of reasons why a boy cannot have a father, and the effect it has on that boy. I have three. I have three sons. My son says Hitler's father died. Hitler's father died. Significant. And because of that, him and his mom became so attached that when she died and he couldn't save her, that was really when the switch really fully turned. And that was how the Prime Minister of Britain was able to insult him and get him to start the war. They already knew, what, this one here is a loose cannon. We're just going to make him nar, and then he'll start the war, and then we can do our things in the background. We can loot, we can steal organs, do scientific projects. While all of this craziness is happening, they were busy with so many behind the scenes vurpa. To the point, and it shows you how distorted and mentally insufficient these beings are. Hey, yeah, hey, I'm sitting here and I'm like, Spirit, what am I going to talk about? The Matrix is a gangster. What are gangsters? Gender confused. Gangsters are gay. They're just trying to show their power. How do we know this? Incarcerate them. And then just incarcerate them. And then you'll see them show their true nature. Where does saggy pants come from? Penitentiary, behind the bars. What does the Matrix do? Bully, steal, trick, tax. Don't mobs and these things also come there and tax and do all of these things? Just because this tax is legal doesn't mean it's still not gangsterism, bullying, intimidating. You know what came to me today? Don't mistake bullying and intimidation and manipulation and hypnosis for influence. Influence happens on the screen, off the screen, in all realms, timelines, and dimensions. Someone who is influential will influence even when they're trying to hide in a little corner. Somehow, the spotlight will follow them. You there like, oh, I'm still busy recovering from my last mission where that nigga betrayed me so bad. I couldn't believe it. I really thought that was the one. And here is a spotlight on you, and somebody is copying you in your mind. You think you are in a low state. In your mind, you thinking, this is the lowest I can reach. Oh, how am I going to get back up from here? Blah, blah, blah. You're busy strategizing how you're going to get back on your feet. What can you change? What can you do differently this time? How did you contribute to that horrible experience that you just had? And then someone is copying you. Yeah, a few months later, when you're now in a new level of yourself, you look back and you see an old version of you walking down the street, and then you realize, can't he? Blueprint. So, the Matrix, politics, gangsterism. Isn't that a gang where they walk in the same color t-shirts here down the street? There's a whole gang, like a mob, they walking. And the politicians are always busy with some violent, if it's not xenophobia, that is, who brought xenophobia to South Africa? If it's rioting, it's always politically, the media influenced by politics, everything. So that's gangsterism. A small group wants to control a big group. It just hit me today. So gay. These niggas that insufficient to make a call. Small man syndrome, small dick syndrome is a real thing. And absent fathers and the effect it has, when you put all of those types of men together, you get DL cults that are trying to siphon women's energies, make and leave a bunch of single mothers in their trail who they can have attached to them forever, who they can siphon from forever. I was saying just now, for someone who was engaged, proposed to several times, attempted to be trapped several times. Like these bloxams all try to trap me. And not trap me to anything good. They try to like enslave me to rubbish. Like, how are you going to try and enslave someone, but then you're not a king? Like, you don't have, like, a thing to even keep that slave alive. Like, how are you going to try and get a slave, but you don't even have enough resources to at least keep the slave alive? Let me read a poem, and then we're going to say, adios, amigos, till next time. Know your worth, my sister. This is all a scam. Even my son and I was discussing today. They're trying to soften men and have men walking around all, and just imagine how that looks. It's very ugly, big belly hanging out, butt shrunken in. Okay, a soft man is just. Okay, I'm not talking about like a soft man. No, I'm talking about a matrix where they're trying to, because women are naturally soft, right? So the matrix is about distortion. So they're trying to soften men, and obviously that's gonna come out wrong. And they're trying to harden women. So they want women to be walking around with a box figure, gruff voices, distorted. These creatures, right, who run the matrix, because they creatures. They with long ears. You see how long the ears are, right? They creatures. You don't try and reason. Okay, you can't reason with a gangster. Okay. If you ever try to do that, don't try to do that, okay? And if you look at what's the problem with teenagers, they have this hypnosis that gangsterism is cool, especially in the townships, right? It's an entity. If you want to pray for something as a mother, clear that entity, the entity of gangsterism, where children think that being violent is going to give them power because they don't have fathers, they don't have mothers. Okay, all the boys that stand downstairs here by my shop, they have none of that. I even have to set boundaries with them because in the end I have 4 of my own children. And I'm not going to have all of my energy siphoned out. Oh no. Oh no. I am not a nun. I am not Mother Teresa. I'm a single mother of 4. And I need to also preserve myself so that I can be healthy for my children. So if I'm giving all of my children to every single child that doesn't have parents outside, what quality of life is my children going to have? So I've even had to set serious boundaries. How many times I told them, "Moet my nie roep nie. As ek het, ek gaan julle cheer. Julle weet ek cheer julle." But when they're hungry, the first person they're going to think about is the last person that gave them food. And the last person is usually me. And it's so... I'm so tired. I'm so tired of seeing the babies hungry. And this woman keep on giving birth to them. And then, the little girlie could barely talk. And I'm asking her, Vashuma, and I'm asking the 2 little sisters. That's like 5 and 8 are looking after the little one that's 1 year old. I'm so tired of seeing this. I'm so tired of seeing it. I'm so tired of seeing it. And it's all these political gangsters that are to blame because we're all paying tax, even those little children's sick, STD infected, drug addicted. Even they are paying tax from their menial 350 rands, from their menial SASSA money. I'm also on SASSA. I've been on SASSA for like 7 years now. And I know I have to stretch that. And then you're still paying tax from that. Everything is taxed. Even the money that you make on your own is taxed. And then you walk outside and you see things like that. Little kiddies that are available to the predators because the leaders in the community who received tenders gambled out the money and they couldn't build proper parks. That the druggies were able to steal that park within months. That's how weak they made the park. Where's the whole R1 million tender if the park can be broken down by hand? Where those children could have been playing safe behind little fences instead of running in the street. When the other druggies, the cheese boys who have access to cars are busy speeding like maniacs while there's children playing in the street. It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm so happy I had the courage to leave the rat race because this last 11 years have been. If it wasn't for my childhood home and for me having the pride to say, you know what, I'm going to stay here. Yes, I tried to go live in a shelter. I've tried all of those. Because it's death over dishonor. I will not stay with an abusive man. I already spent a full day in the park with my daughter because my mother was fighting here and she didn't want me to come in. She wanted to teach me a lesson because she was talking down on the people. And I said, you can't talk down on the people, that's wrong. That is my mother. I'm not allowed to talk, to correct my mother. She's your mother. Let her abuse you. If it wasn't for my pride and knowing that I gave up my childhood to help build this business and build this house, I don't know where I would be living with my babies. But thank goodness we have our home here. And Anubis told me when I was 5, stay at home. I'll protect you, just stay at home. I tried running. Oh, I ran for many years. I've had my own apartment. I've ran for many years. But for the last 11 years, I've been here at home. Yes, I've been in the most broken section of the house. Okay, now the shop is beating me because since she rented the shop out to these people, they just damaged it. There was laminate floors, they damaged it. It's also her fault because she hired the cheapest builders and she put a shower without putting a glass door on in a room that has laminate floors and rhino board walls. And you ask yourself, where's the respect for something that you built? Or were we so busy building that we didn't see the big fat boss standing back and watching us? And that's why she doesn't ever feel... Okay. My doggy does not want me talking about that right now. Guys, if it wasn't for this place and my self-preservation, I don't understand how, like, people still drink and stuff, like people who are unemployed still consume alcohol. Like, I don't know how they afford it, because the way I have to stretch that sasa money. I've been learning. Hey, I can do financial management after this. I'm busy right now. I bought, it was 90 rand a meter, so I bought 4 meters. That's 180, 360. I bought 360 rands worth of this material. This is the inside. This is what it looks like. I just saw it. I walked past the shop last month and I saw it and I was like, oh my word, I have to come back when I have money for this material. So I bought 4 meters, it was 360, and I'm making myself a tracksuit because I don't really have enough warm clothes. I've been sleeping really cold. So I'm going to make myself a tracksuit. And when I'm done making this, it's worth 3,000 rand. I'm making it by hand. But this struggle has brought that out in me. The resourcefulness. The struggle is how I started sewing again. No, not how I started sewing again. How I started sewing. Because since the earliest age, I dreamt of sewing. And it wasn't encouraged. It was actually discouraged. And now, when I reached the point where I didn't even have clothes to wear, I was like, okay, I have to make myself clothes. And that's how it started. I started with trousers, sewing myself clothes. It's time for us to get real. Okay? Matrix Wanyela. And we hold the power. In the end, we are the majority. The taxpayer is the majority.